All right. Am I live? Yes, I think I am. So, the question would be where I want to answer that how do I fix my feelings if someone broke you so deep? Ooh, I think that's what everybody has had at some point in their life. Everybody have broken hearts, that's for sure. And I have many. I think I think it's very common human experience. So yeah, but let's a little bit open up that because I personally believe that there is. Hi Kalle, moi Kalle. Because I believe that there is definitely two sides of the coin. If the coin would be the relationship, there is always the positive side of that, the experience, positive experiences in that relationship, and then there is the negative experiences in the other side of the coin. And mostly we probably have those positive experiences when we just start the relationship and there is kind of the honeymoon phase and everything is good and new and exciting. And then, things start to get a little bit more tough because you start to see who the other one actually is, and you probably also start to be who you actually are. And I also believe that every relationship, like even if it's with our parents, with our children, with our lovers, with whomever, coworkers, people who are close to you in your life or bring up some intensive emotions, they are actually there to be reflection of your own self. Oh, let's put this silent. Oh yeah. So so yeah, the reflection what you start to see is not always so pretty, and sometimes it is very pretty, and you kind of like can see that, oh, I could be this and I could be that, and I feel so much alive with this person. And of course everybody wants that kind of relationship. That's the goal, and once you have had it, it's very hard to let go of those positive parts. But the problem is that usually you have created some kind of fantasy around that positivity. You actually are refusing to see the reality and some of those negative parts. And usually we are not ready kind of to see who the or to accept the other person as they are. We rather keep or hold on to that fantasy that we have in our own minds about that person, that I want you to be like this because you have once been like this, or because that's what I want. So we hold on to that fantasy very tightly, and we are not ready to see the reality because it's usually painful, or it pushes us to learn more. And that's now the key word, because every relationship is a learning possibility or learning experience. And the more willing you are to see the reality and to learn, the more kind of deeper you can also go. If you want to hold on, or if you both in that relationship want to hold on to your own fantasies, or try to keep up the same fantasy up that this is who we are and that's how we are supposed to be always, there is gonna start to, at some point, like the shit is gonna start to bubble up or the bubble where you are spending your time is gonna go broken. So yeah, if you have lots of, or if you feel heartbroken, then I suggest that you open your mind and heart maybe to see the reality of that person and of that relationship and about yourself. And how you do that? Well, first of all, you have to connect with those feelings what you have. And this goes also even if you are in a relationship and you have some problems. So when you have that some negative feeling that is rising up there all the time, let that feeling come. Don't try to push it down or push it back, or just like kind of loathe in it. Don't go loathe in it without actively doing anything about that or for that. So let the feeling come up and let yourself feel it through, and kind of like ask the questions that why am I feeling what I'm feeling, and let the feeling tell the story. Usually if there is the feeling that I feel lonely, or I feel not good enough, or it can be whatever, but there is usually some earlier story than what is now related to this relationship. And usually those stories are something that has happened many times in your life through many people or many circumstances even. So try to follow a little bit back that how early age does that story go, or that feeling what you are feeling. And if it kind of takes you to very early in your age, to your childhood, you have to understand that there is kind of some child part of you that has in a way traumatized by that feeling, because when we are kids, we don't have the rational mind. The rational mind is not there telling you all the logical information about what's going on. So then you have to understand that it's only your emotions that come and form the reality, and your mind is not understanding that, so it can be somehow traumatizing. Even the smallest things can in a way be traumatizing on an emotional level. So if you go back and you find there some particular thing that happened and you feel that but it was nothing, then just stay with that and go deeper and go and feel that what that child actually felt in that situation. And same thing now when you're an adult. Go there and let yourself feel that through, that what is it that I actually do feel. And when you let yourself to go really deep in there, you also can then ask the next question. That, for example, if the message from that feeling would be that I'm lonely or I'm worthless, for example, or nobody wants me, then to ask yourself that, is that really true? Like, is it really true? Or maybe the feeling would be that nobody loves me, or I have never been truly loved. So is it really true? And then also ask what part of you is feeling that? And, kind of meditate with the answers. Close your eyes, have a peaceful surroundings, be with yourself and sit with those questions and kind of let yourself feel and see the truth behind there. Usually people kind of like find their more peace when they understand that what they are experiencing is only one side, or it has happened because maybe you have been child and you haven't been understanding yet that much what has been going around you, or that now if you're an adult, that maybe your relationship has been a little bit based on fantasy. That is it really true? Like, is there really the full reality of, or kind of the acceptance for the full reality what has been or what's going on? And usually the answer would be, no. And then bit by bit you will start to see that, so what you need to accept and what you need to see in that situation, or maybe in that situation that you experienced when you were a child, and to get there more perspectives or more more kind of like, the wider perspective towards that situation or towards that person, and to make it somehow more reality based. These are basically the first steps that help people to be able to do some kind of inner work. But yeah, of course, in my coachings we go more faster, finding more better answers, because it's very different if somebody is reflecting you all the time back and and kind of guiding you. Even myself, I have now worked years with my own mentors, with my own coaches. There is no way that I would be able to be as clear as I am now at this point of my life after everything that I have experienced without my own mentors and coaches. No way. And that's basically also the reflection part there, that you have to be able to have also some kind of reflection through a person that is more clear than yourself. If you only reflect yourself through people who are more messed up than yourself, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna find more clarity. You can find more clarity inside of yourself, but the true growth happens only through other people, through experiences. And don't separate yourself from that. That's the fastest way also to out from those heartaches. If you kind of just put yourself out there and seek for new experiences and see that, okay, so who am I now? What am I pulling into my reality, and what parts of that are my conscious creations and what are my unconscious creations? What parts in my reality are part of or coming from the parts of what are based on my fears or negative beliefs? And what parts in my reality are actually very satisfying, exciting, positive things there? Or in a way, neutral. Neutral is always better than anything else. Numb is not neutral. There's difference in there too. Yeah, and then probably also to ask yourself that who am I in this relationship or in that past relationship, and who am I without that? And you might see like that what is actually the reflection that you are getting from that relationship, and put it also in a positive and in a negative way. You get more wider understanding about things if you are willing to see both. Yeah. I have had people around me who has had lots of divorces, and things kind of like get much more extreme if you have kids involved. And usually the children also are a huge reflection of your inner child. you kind of feel that no, for example, when I divorced, I had the feeling that my son was unwanted. But that was actually just reflection of my own inner feelings of my own trauma from my childhood. So even if the reality, what I was experiencing with him, was telling me that he is not wanted, it doesn't mean that it's his experience. It's just mine. And I see it because it is my wound. So those circumstances are then reflection of that. And when I started to work with that wound, and that wound was kind of like in every corner in my life, and it still is, it still comes up sometimes, but now I'm just like more capable of noticing it and see it. And then I can create something else when I see that, okay, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to anymore create from that wound. I want to create now something else more consciously. But we have to be able to pick up our own like negative unconscious creations and also the the resistance that we have towards of seeing reality. Because reality is always, it's very, very painful, extremely painful. That's why probably we have created this pretty social media and all this polished social media part also, because people don't want to actually show the reality because it's not pretty. So, but if you are in a path of self-growth and self-development and you are seeking for a good life, seeking for inner freedom, peace, you have to be able to face the reality, because by in accepting that there lies that's where the peace and the acceptance like lies. That sounds like lying, but like that's where it is. All right, I hope that at least for the person who asked this question, that there came some perspective to that situation, and maybe something that you can now do and be active about getting out from the heartache, or if you want to be there as long as you want. But mainly we have the need to get towards more peaceful, positive things. So then working actively to see the reality and with your negative emotions and let them come up and show the story, let them to tell the story, you will be more capable of also like process that and move forward. And then the exciting part comes when you kind of like have the new phase of your life starting, where you start to pull in new experiences and you can be again curious that, okay, so what kind of relationship I'm gonna pull in at this point of my life. It's always exciting. So yep, do your inner work and put more questions if there comes up. And every time I promise that I'm gonna start to do more of these live things or more YouTube videos, and I never do, but trust me, I'm trying, and I will answer to your questions, if not tomorrow, but at some point at least. So yeah, have a perfect day. Ciao.